'Tis woman's strongest vindication for speaking that the world needs to hear her voice. Anna Julia Cooper wrote those words in 1892. You would think she's speaking about today. White supremacy and patriarchy, by definition, belittles and ignores the voices of Black women. Some of Us Are Brave, a Black woman's radio program, was a corrective to that, centering and airing the voices, views, and experiences of Black women, documenting them and capturing moments in time. The program aired on Pacifica Radio for almost a decade. Many of those voices have been preserved here, and Some of Us Are Brave, interviews and conversations with sisters on life, art, and struggle. Edited by Tandisizwe Shimaringa.
And good evening, good afternoon. It is another Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. That means it's time for Rootwork here on Black Liberation Media. My name is Tandisizwe Shimaringa. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. And for those of you all who come in later on, appreciate your presence. Please like, share, and subscribe. Like the video now before you forget or get pissed off. Share the link. Subscribe to Black Liberation Media here on YouTube. Subscribe to the Patreon. Become a member. Subscribe to my own Woodwork channel here on YouTube. And subscribe to our guests' various media undertakings if you have not already done so. My guest today is the wonderful Brooke Obie. I first became aware of Brooke Obie when she was writing at I believe it was Blavity. She'll correct me. And her various takes I found a lot of kinship with. In particular, when she critiqued that god-awful movie, Queen and Slim. I was like, this is my girl. So yeah, we're going to have Brooke Obie on today talking about two of the most recent offerings in Black cinema. Boots Riley's I Love Boosters, and I'm forgotten this is his name, Alicia Jackson. I'm sure I'll be reminded of it. Is God Is. And I had the opportunity to view both films over the weekend, but I wanted to talk with someone who knows way more than I do about this. And so, of course, Brooke was the obvious choice. So as opposed to, yeah, we got some ignorance in the chat. Let me get rid of that real quick, because we don't do all that. We don't do that here. But yeah, got a couple of folks in the chat. Come on in. And again, thank you for being here now. And if you're watching the show later on, appreciate you. But I want to get started. I've gotten in trouble before for playing clips. You got to get copyright YouTube strikes when I try to play clips from the movies. Somebody said I was trying to play the whole series, the whole movie. I wasn't trying to do all that. But we don't have any clips. But for those of you who have already seen these films, then you're going to know what we'll be referring to. If you have not seen the film, ain't no spoiler alert. You should have seen the film already. Okay, let me bring up Brooke and let me hush talking. How are you doing today?
I am so great. Thank you so much for having me back.
I greatly appreciate you, and I appreciate your insight. And I need you to help me with one of these films. So yeah, I absolutely need you. But let's start with I need your help with Is God Is. But we'll get to that in a moment. Well, actually, Is God Is, I don't remember which one came out first.
Is God Is came out first.
Yeah, let's come back to that. Let's start with I Love Boosters.
Okay.
That's a little bit lighter subject matter. So let's start with that one. I thought it was a quirky film. I thought it was a funny film. I thought that we could even call this a popular education technique to bring not necessarily communism, but worker struggles, definitely dialectical materialism. So I'm seeing ignorance over here in the chat. I'm moving it out the way. Yeah, so sorry about that. So yeah, I love boosters. I like boosters. I don't know if I love it. I don't know if I love it, but I like boosters. I didn't have, other than I've heard people talk about being on the nose and hitting over the head with dialogue and with filmmaking. And there have been times when I'm like, no, it's okay. Have a message in the film. Don't worry about whether it's on the nose. And then we get I Love Boosters, and I'm like, ooh, that was kind of on the nose. Ooh, that was kind of hitting over the head. Okay. But I thought it was a nice intervention. I thought it was a good intervention. Um, I thought it was a good attempt to bring this quote unquote ideological viewpoint that is absolutely to the left of the mainstream to quote unquote the masses, or the masses who could afford a ticket. Let's, let's just keep it real. Or who could
Right.
afford to rent it like I did on the smart TV, right? I thought that that's what it was. I thought it was a decent attempt. We won't know the impact of it after what, a month. We won't know if the masses are going to rise up and join with the workers. If the workers over here are going to join with the workers in China, there's no way of telling that a month after the film. But at any rate, let me hear what you have to say and just respond.
Well, I mean, I love Boots Riley. I think he is one of the smartest filmmakers out, most creative. Really enjoyed I Love Boosters. And I think that it's less about people watching the movie and immediately rising up. I think if
Okay.
people watch the movie and Google dialectical materialism, that's a
Mm,
win. If people Google communism, that's a win. If people start talking to their friends about what their struggles are at work, and seeing how there may be similarities, and looking into unionizing, I think that's a huge win. So I think Boots is doing his part as far as creating these satirical films that are really stretching these premises to the absurd extreme to make it
mhm.
funny and enjoyable and engaging, while
Right.
also bringing out on the surface just straight up communist principles. I think that's really genius. I think that's kind of the point for me. Like, that's why I watch movies, that's why
Mhm.
I make movies. Like that, I feel like Boots is really in line with the intention, the purpose of it. Like, it's not just supposed to be about, oh, let me turn my brain off for a second and watch some nonsense, and then keep going back to my daily life and not changing anything. Like, art should provoke, art should change things, and I think
Mhm.
this does that for me. I think Boots and the work that he does with Sorry to Bother You, with his TV show I'm a Virgo, they're consistently, all three of these works are about labor organizing,
Mhm.
about seeing how your problems intersect with the problems that other people around you are having, and how
Mhm.
you all can band together to make something different. And I
Mhm.
think that's fantastic. I mean, I don't, who else is doing that? I think it's
Okay.
necessary. I think it's great. And it centers Black people. I Love Booster centers Black women specifically. I think
Mhm.
it's great.
Now, I didn't do my due diligence in the beginning. I did my due diligence with the channel stuff, but not with this stuff. We're talking about I Love Boosters, one of the films we're talking about today, which is a film by Boots Riley, where he's got these three women, predominantly women, sisters, black women, who boost merchandise, high end fashion clothing, and they sell it. And through a series of instances, incidents, they decide that they're not going to sell. They target a fashion designer and her stores, and they decide at a certain point they're not just going to boost her stuff and sell it, but they're going to either, well, they don't destroy it, but they work in league with a worker in a sweatshop in China who makes the clothing, who has now teleported herself into the US. And so they begin to work together to bring down this fashion mogul. And in doing so, part of what they're doing is agitating for better working conditions at that particular sweatshop in China, and how what they have done becomes publicized and leads to this ripple effect with workers elsewhere in other countries. Kind of a stretch, but okay. It's a movie. We'll take it. We'll deal with it. So that's what we're talking about in terms of I Love Boosters. I agree with you. Um,
I
even though
think that's the
I like
other
to
part,
think of
though,
my brain.
Seasway.
Huh?
I think that's the other part of it, though, too. The idea of teleportation and using technology as something that is revolutionary, that's going to connect people and allow these separate rebellions to intersect and have a greater impact. That's a really big deal, especially now, and especially, with Boots up in Oakland. And this being set in Oakland, this is very close to, Silicon Valley, the hub of technology. And we're seeing now with all this generative AI that is specifically targeting the Black community, building their data centers in our communities, poisoning our air, poisoning our water, raising prices for us, taking over farmland, through eminent domain, all of these things that are happening through tech that are specifically harming Black people. And then for Boots to kind of flip it and to show how technology can be used as a way, a portal, to take us to a place where we should be, this, communist utopia where we're all working together. I think that's really, that's the point. That's really brilliant. Like, everybody is feeding us. We have these Jeff Bezos, Sam Altman, awful CEO tech losers, Mark Zuckerberg, telling us that this is the future, this is the way that this technology is going to be used, and everybody just needs to get on board with it. And very rapey language, like, you can't stop it, so you might as well enjoy it, kind of stuff. And then you have Boots using technology to show, actually, there is another way that we can do things. There is another usefulness to technology that can be for our betterment, that can bring us together rather than killing us all and killing the environment. So that's just, another way.
And the teleporter is the main usage of this technology, but the technology has three settings. You can teleport to another location. You can accelerate a situation. It's called the situational accelerator. And then you have the deconstructor. And it is through that teleporting or that technology that we get to this discussion of what is dialectical materialism, which I thought, on the one hand, that's kind of brilliant, but on the other hand, it's like, ooh, that's kind of heavy over the head. That's a sledgehammer over the head. But okay, I feel you. This is who you are. You're a communist. You staying true to your politics. I feel you. I got you. But what I was saying earlier is that I like turning my brain off sometimes. Not that I'm just going to do nothing later on, but I like to turn off my brain. I like the suspension of disbelief. And Boots is definitely going to have you suspending your belief, suspending disbelief. Absolutely.
Yeah, because
But
it's not so much that, films that are educational shouldn't also be entertaining. I think that is the purpose of making a film. You do want to be entertaining. And I think this does that, in that it's really funny. Kiki Palmer is, hilarious and does a really great job. I mean, the whole cast, they all have really, really funny moments that are great. So it's about, what do you want to put your mind towards. So, absolutely, you have to shut your mind off when you watch a Boots Riley film, in the sense that you're going to have claymation. Like, there's claymation in this movie. If you are a person who can't deal with just ridiculous stuff, then Boots Riley, if you cannot deal with the absurdity, Boots Riley is not going to be for you. Like, that's just turn your brain off.
But at the same time, Boots is showing you the absurdity.
Yes.
By using the absurdity.
Yes.
That's the whole claymation. Well,
The
it's not,
contradictions.
not even the claymation, just the idea of this major fashion mogul designer also has a brand of suits that cost $100,000,
Mhm.
and they are skin suits. And these skin suits are the costumes that people wear when they are advocating for what? More police, when they are advocating against fair market housing, when
Mhm.
they are advocating for against labor union organizing, when they are advocating all of these spokespersons out here who are basically scamming and in league with our oppressors, our enemies. These are the people who wear these particular skin suits. It's all a scam. They are all in league with one another. So using an absurdity to show us the absurdity, I thought was absolutely hilarious. One of the things that's hilarious. Now, one of the things that is, it provided comic relief, but like I said, I brought you here because you're smarter than me. Why
That's
was
not
Lakeith
true.
Stanfield? Why was Lakeith Stanfield in this movie?
Oh my. Okay. So, Sizwe, really, I feel like everybody at some point in life has had a fuck boy try to get them off their mark. Lakeith Stanfield's character is a fuck boy. Like, they literally
Yeah.
telling you this man has no good intentions for you. He will literally suck your soul out of your body and leave you destitute in the corner, afterwards, like, so that is another absurd, extreme. But that is like, literally, we know men like this. We know women who have fallen victim to men like this. you know uh, that was Lakeith's purpose, and that was the thing. He's like, oh, yes, I'm a soul sucking demon, because that's the new thing that men do these days, is like, acknowledging their faults is, now that means that this means that they're a good person because they can acknowledge their faults. Like, boo, that's step one. Like, there are 11 more.
There's
Like,
steps. There are other steps here.
let's
Yeah.
keep going. But he's, confessing to her, like, yes, I'm a soul sucking demon. And, but I won't do it to you. And two, I'm not like all these other women that you know that I've done it to. You're special. I won't do it to you. And also, if you fall in love with me, then I will stop being a demon and
I will
I
be a
will be a human. And she was just like, I'm not interested in this. You have gotten me at the wrong point in time. And like I said, if you are, especially if you're down on your luck, like Keke Palmer's character was down on her luck. She had bills
down
chasing
bad.
her. She was
Down
down really
bad.
bad and very, very vulnerable. And somebody, she's trying to do more in life. She's trying to be a designer. She's trying to get this boosting business, and then take down Christy Smith. Like, her goals keep increasing as the movie goes on, and every single time, here come this nigga trying to get her off her square. Like, that was literally the point. So for her to just at the end be like, no, this is not interesting to me, this is not enticing to me, I will not be tempted into wasting my time trying to fall in love with you so you can stop being a demon.
That's not exactly what she said at the end.
She did,
However,
and she said, and
however,
also, I
family
can't be with
friendly.
somebody.
Family friendly. No.
I can't be with somebody who won't go down on me. Which, hilarious, great last line, just fantastic.
But okay, when you put it that way, right? Someone that was going to take her off her square.
Yeah.
Because when they're sitting there at the Chuck E. Cheese, she's like, "Okay, I need to block him."
Yes, but she
If this
doesn't.
Yeah, right. She didn't block him, right?
But she does not, and he
Yeah.
keeps coming back around.
Yeah, he keeps circling around. Absolutely,
Exactly. She does, because she didn't go with her first mind, which was to block him. So, and that's why, even at the Christy Smith show, they're on a mission. They're in there, to basically ruin the fashion show and to let everybody know what's going on with what Chrissy Smith got going on behind the scenes. She's a design stealing, sweatshop running, billionaire CEO that has, that needs to be exposed. And that's her mission. And that's why you had Naomi Aki's character on the other side of the door. She's bamming on the door trying to get Keke to come with her instead of falling into the eyes of this man. Because again, there he was again in the middle of the climax of the movie. He's trying to, get her distracted with some foolishness. And that's just he was just a fuckboy. Like that was it. It was just he was just supposed to be. Sorry, family. What's the family friendly version of that?
Don't worry about it. So yeah, just throw the fuckboy in the. Boots is gonna throw some shit in the movie for you. He definitely gonna throw some stuff in there. Oh my God. So of course, I didn't write it down, and now I've forgotten it. It was another thing I wanted to ask you about in terms of I Love Boosters. Unfortunately, it'll probably come back after we've switched now over to Is God Is. So let's.
I'll say one more thing about I Love Boosters. I'll say one more thing about I Love Boosters, and you can tell me if it sparks anything. But I think the other genius thing about I Love Boosters is it makes you question, who are the boosters? Who are the thieves? Because again, Christy Smith, she is building an empire off of exploited labor. She is literally stealing designs. She stole Kiki Palmer's design and is now out in stores and everything. And so, there is an actual movement. And so Boots and I actually talked about this over on Black Girl Watching last month on my podcast. And he was explaining like the idea behind this, because it was first a song on his album from 2006, which is one of Pick a Bigger Weapon, one of my favorite albums, mixing, communism with, hip hop. And he has a song called I Love Boosters on there. So throughout over the past 20 years, they've actually been looking, they've, been ramping up these ideas of people, just individual people just stealing from everything. That's why you got the deodorant locked up in jail in the CVS, and you have to, call to get just basic stuff out. And it turns out that stuff was just a lie. Like people weren't mass stealing. These corporations have been creating, enemies of, Black women, particularly, who are boosters, and then other people, low level, kind of thieves, as if this is a huge problem. And the huge problem is wage theft. The huge problem is what's going on with these corporations and how they're stealing from us, not the other way around. So, and
it's not even an ideological talking point. They're actually stealing the wages.
Exactly.
And they actually, it was something that was happening. I can't remember now. It wasn't that they were losing money. It's not that people were shoplifting and therefore they were losing money. They weren't making money in the first place.
Right.
So that's where we get this all out media push to blame the rash of smash and grabs and boosting that justifies their quote unquote shutting down these stores.
Right. And that just further criminalizes Black people, further criminalizes poor people. And then you've got the Cara Young character and all the people in the skin suits who are on the news, pretending like they are just so outraged by, all of these, rallying against what the people need, and pretending as if
that people need.
Exactly. So, it's complicity of the media, in line with law enforcement, in line with these CEOs, like they're all working together against the people. And that's what this movie brings about. And I think it's a really important thing.
Now, I just 15 minutes before we came on the air, I watched a short film called Rainbow Girls. Are you familiar with Rainbow Girls?
I am. I didn't actually watch it though, and I've been meaning to watch it. There's actually two that are very similar to I Love Boosters. There's a web series as well about boosters. I can't think of the name, but I didn't watch that one either, and I've been meaning to.
Okay.
It's called Booster Club by Carlton Jordan.
We'll have to come back to that because I was wondering. Rainbow Girls takes place in San Francisco around Black women, trans women in particular, Black trans women who are boosting from these expensive stores in this very exclusive sort of district in San Francisco. And it
Mm-hmm.
came out around either 2013 or 2015, I think. But that was one of the questions I had. But you reminded me, Boots has been talking about this since at least 2006.
Yeah, his song is called 2006, but I think her short
I
actually
know
I
Boots.
think that came out last year. I don't even think
Oh,
it was
really?
that old.
Well,
Yeah, I
something,
think
either there was a case in 2013 or 2015. There was, I remember the dates, but for some reason, but I can't remember it all. But okay, fine. All right, but you haven't not seen those. Okay, no
I
problem.
haven't seen it. No, I should have watched it.
No problem. But now let's use the Carrie Young character, the
Mhm.
crying mother.
Yes.
Carrie Young is also in Is God Is.
And it's Alicia Harris.
Alicia Harris. I knew it was Alicia
Yes.
somebody. Now, this was actually a play first written by Alicia Harris,
Hmm.
and it is now a film. Is God Is, Cara Young and another sister whose name
Mallory Johnson.
Mallory Johnson, are twin sisters. The tagline for this film, the title is God Is, but the tagline is Make Your Daddy Dead, Real Dead. I watched it over the weekend. I watched it twice to make sure I got it, or as much as I could. Just like I watched Boosters, I think, if not twice, three times. Still didn't get all, but okay. I have no idea what to say about Is God Is. I remember just before it came out, you had said trigger warning.
Yes.
You need to be prepared before you watch this. I was like, oh, really? Okay. And you gave me an indicator of why. And then the film comes out, and I'm monitoring social media. That's what I call it, monitoring. Anyway, and I'm seeing people's reactions to the film. The majority, almost all the black women that I saw who had seen the film said it was triggering, but how they appreciated it,
Hmm.
felt it was necessary, and wanted other people to see it.
Hmm.
So I saw it. I knew what it was about. I saw it. And I'm not sure what, I guess because we're on a timer. I saw it over the weekend. Today we're at the show. I guess I need some more time. There
Hmm.
were some things that stood out for me, but I don't know what to say about this movie. I mean, I don't know what to say coherently. I've got a lot of incoherent, jumbled thoughts. What do I mean by that? I was telling someone today, when Color Purple first came out the first time, I was
Hmm.
very young, and me and three friends had heard horrible things about it. So we went to go see it, but we hate watched it throughout the entire film. I hated Danny Glover for decades until I found out who he was, because my thing was, why would you take this role? Why would you play it so good? But at any rate, if people are not familiar with Sterling, I don't forget his name,
Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown. If they're not familiar with his body of work, if they're not familiar with his many public pronouncements in praise of black women, this is going to be the Danny Glover for them. He's going to be their Danny Glover. They are going to hate Sterling K. Brown. There was absolutely nothing redeemable about this man in this film.
Oh.
It might be why Sterling, because if Jonathan Majors had played it, anyway, there's absolutely nothing redeemable about Sterling Brown, excuse me, the character that Sterling K. Brown portrayed.
Hmm.
Uh, One of the things that struck me, these are twin daughters who have been summoned to the bedside of their mother. They've grown up in foster care. They thought their mother was dead, that she died in a fire. Turns out she was just horrifically burned by her husband, the twins' father, and she stayed out of their life. But now she's dying. She asks them to come and makes a request of them. Go kill your father for me. Look at what he has done to me. This is why you have been impacted the way you are with your physical scars. Do this for me. You got one daughter, one of the twins is like, hell motherfucking yeah, let's do it. The other daughter, the twin, is not so sure. So they embark upon this journey to go find their daddy and take him out. And a lot happens in addition to taking out the father. One of the things that struck me was what you said, Mallory.
Yes.
Mallory's character, so naive,
Yeah.
and so I'm not
It's
sure.
not even naive.
There's a
It's
naivete there's a bit of naivete there.
no, because she doesn't have any naivete when it comes to her mother. She can see very clearly that her mother is using them. She is
No,
a
no, I
very
meant in terms of that.
male-centered, patriarchal woman. Like
Who
that's
is
what I got.
Mallory?
Mallory's character Anaya is a
Uh,
very like she
okay.
gets and enjoys and respects male validation over
Validation. Okay.
everything. So, knowing what her father did to her mother and the
Mm-hmm.
consequences of that, she was still allowed to be moved by that. She wasn't moved by her mother in the same
Mm-hmm.
way.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother did not, cause their harm. The
Right.
father did, but she was still very skeptical. She had her brain on thinking through all the, like, why is she just reaching out
Yeah.
to us now? She misspelled my name. I mean, she's had all sorts of hostility for her mother. She misspelled my name on the door. She didn't write me. She
She,
hasn't been around.
she was tight about that in this spelling. I'm like, girl,
She
let
was.
it go,
She
let it go.
was.
But anyway,
But I think that is something to, what does it mean? If she just been left out? Has she been, I don't think it's invalid for her to feel this way, but I
mm-hmm.
think comparing the way that Anaya feels about her
Mm-hmm.
mother
Mm-hmm.
versus the way
Right.
that she feels about her father, like her father is so easily able to disarm her.
Yes.
Like he literally disarms her.
Yes.
From like a couple of sweet words.
Mm-hmm.
And
she wanted to believe.
Exactly. She wanted to believe her father in a way that she did not want to believe her mother. And that to me makes her a male-centered patriarchal girl rather than someone who's just naive across the board.
Well, no, I wouldn't say naive across the board. As I was saying, there's a naivete there. And I was thinking specifically of when she's with the other twin.
Who's
like
which one?
The twin at the pool. I'm like, you believe
the
this?
Boy. Because but this is what I'm saying. This is the difference.
Yeah.
These are boys and men.
Mm-hmm.
Even the dad of her, the father of her unborn child, she allows this man because she's so horrifically burned and he won't look her in the face, but he will have sex with her from behind. And she allows it. Her self-esteem is to the point. She is so
shot.
Exactly. And I'm not blaming her for that. This is just an observation that she would allow this man who does not care for her and will not look upon her face to have sex with her, from behind, as a way to get the male validation that she's seeking. So that's what I'm saying. She doesn't have the same level of deference for women. She doesn't have it for her sister. She doesn't have it for her mother. She has it for this man who is using her for sex. She has it for a twin brother that she just met 5 minutes ago. And she has it for a father who she knows for a fact has done horrible things that have ruined her life. And the deference that she gives, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's something deeper than naivete, because if she was just naive across the board, she's just a naive girl, then okay, she's just a naive girl. Like, no, you peep game when it's women and girls, but when it's men, you have complete blinders on because you crave that level of validation from men. And that is something that I found very interesting and to me very troubling about, deciding which twin deserves to live and which twin has to die.
Right. And that issue of the male-centeredness, we see it in other aspects with the other female characters in the film.
Right.
But in terms of, well, of course, that troubled me that Racine, the other twin, died.
Yes, because that is like, so yes, that's actually the title of my review on Black Girl Watching is God Is gives the angry Black girl fire and brimstone. And what really upset me about, because I was down for 95% of the movie. It was that ending where Racine dies that really upset me and just made this a movie that like I can't rock with on the whole. Because Racine, contrary to her sister Anaya, Racine is very female centered. She is matriarchal. She sees her mother as God, and that's where the title comes from. Is God is for her. When I was talking to Alicia Harris, the writer director, is God is a statement. It's a matter of fact. She is God. But yes, and for Anaya, it's a question. Well, is she? I mean, I don't. She's not certain about it in the way that Racine is. And when Racine calls her mother God for the first time, when Anaya and Racine are outside of the house about to enter and meet their mother for the first time as adults, and Racine calls her mother God, Anaya says, "You gonna get struck down."
That's what she said.
And there's so many moments like that preparing you for the fact that Racine is going to die. But I think a big part of it is the fact that Racine is matriarchal. She wasn't all gung-ho about killing her father at first. She was also just like, that's crazy. She was like, don't you think we should forgive and forget?
She was the one that said forgive and forget. Yeah.
It was only when they pull the blankets off of Vivica Fox and you see the horrible extent to which her body has been maimed by this man. Racine has tears in her eyes and she's like, oh, it's on. Like, yes, tell us where to find this man. And she does that not only for her mother, but she rides for her sister their entire lives. Racine does not have burns on her face.
The beginning of the film.
Exactly.
Which I love. These beautiful twin. They're calling her sister ugly on a playground. How old are these babies? 6 years old? They can't be 10 years old. They're not even double digits.
Yes.
Racine goes and picks up a bat and goes and hits these other children for calling her sister ugly. And then she comes, they don't show us that, but we hear the thuds and the cries of the children. And then she comes back and hugs her sister.
Yes, that is so crucial. It's so crucial too, because I think there was a narrative that was developing, and even Anaya tried to spin this narrative of Racine as somebody, she just wants to be bad. She wants to hurt people, and she's using me as an excuse to do it. When like at every step, Racine is like trying to comfort her sister. She's trying to clear a path for her sister. She's trying to make the world a safer, better place for her sister to live. And, it's like, Anaya even says, you have men falling all over you. You don't ever see Racine talking about no man, being around no, like she's not interested. She has no interest in the way that Anaya desperately craves male attention. Racine does not.
That she will allow that treatment from the dude who impregnates her.
Exactly. And Racine doesn't have that. And so for her to be the matriarchal one, for her to be the one that rides out for vengeance and justice for Black women and for herself, because she's also burned. She may not be burned on her face, but the beginning of the movie, after this kind of prologue when they're children, when the movie actually starts, they're they're at work, they're at an office. There is a pretty Black lady that works there. Racine and Anaya are janitors. They're working the night shift, cleaning up after all these people. This Black woman comes by. She drops her scarf on the floor, and Racine picks it up with her burnt hand. I mean, she's got, her fingers have been melted together like a claw, and she's got all these horrific scars on her, and she hands the scarf over to the woman who dropped her scarf, and the woman is horrified. So she's even more horrified when Anaya comes running to try to see and make sure Racine's okay. And so obviously Anaya, having her scars on her face and neck, has a much more difficult time in the world on a day-to-day basis because of where her scars are than Racine. But Racine is still experiencing being ugly, And that's why she says, I want to call somebody ugly. I want to step on somebody for once. It must feel good since everybody keeps doing it. These are children that have been abused in the foster care system for years. They had to age out of the foster care system or run away, was the implication of that. And so, for Racine to be the one who dies, I'm like, what are you, Alicia Harris, as the writer-director, saying about, the patriarchal princess, she gets to survive, and the matriarchal one is just too angry. She's just too full of what did Erica Alexander's character says? You are septic with rage. You have to die. You're just like your dad. There's so many moments in the movie where they keep telling Racine how much she's like her father. And so, of course, her father has to pull her in. She's closest to him and when he's burning to death in the tub. And so, of course, she has to go to hell with him. You've sent the matriarchal ride or die Black woman to hell. That's what I saw.
And that's not the message we need to be sending.
That's what I'm saying. What is the message? Because I can't rock with that.
Not cool at all. But yeah. Like I said, I'm like, well, I don't know what to make of this. But thank you. I didn't read your review because I wanted to see the film first.
Oh, good. Yes.
And
I'm going to spoil it.
And bask in my disbelief. Oh my God. But it would be interesting to read the actual play version because
I read it.
No, I mean for me and for others to read it to see how much does this movie deviate from that, and if so, how much.
So I actually wrote about this in my review as well, because I did read the play and actually talked to Alicia Harris. So both of those things are on Black Girl Watching in the same article.
I put the link in the chat.
Thank you. And so, yes, the difference is in the ending. So Racine still dies. And I asked Alicia Harris about that as well, because, I was just like, why are we killing Racine? I wasn't super satisfied with the answer. It was just kind of this idea of it being more poetic for her to die. And I'm just like, well, it wasn't poetic to me. Was actually very distressing. And I've seen a lot of, she is happy with the ending. She has defended the ending, and the play's been out for a decade now at this point too. She's won a lot of awards for it. She's satisfied with the ending. But in the play, what was different for I appreciate the play ending better than the movie ending, because the movie is just kind of like Anaya's like, oh, now it's quiet. Oh, it's just me now. Oh, I'm free. Like there's this element of her like feeling like Racine was weighing her down and not the other way around. And
Racine has done nothing but ride for her.
That's what I'm saying. Riding for her, protecting her. And Anaya's kind of just making excuses, because if she were in Racine's position, she would do something else. She would have left Racine. If it was the other way around, she would have left Racine a long time ago. So at the end of this movie, you get this idea of her like with her baby, just happy, and free, and like life is going to be great now. Life's going to be different now because I'm not going to be weighted down by these people.
It's definitely going to be different. I don't know if it's going to be great, but definitely going to be different.
So in the play, she goes back to God, which I think is really that's just a thing that should have happened. They were they were collecting trinkets along the way to give back to God, to show that they had done what they said that they were going to do. And so for it to not end with her going back to God, I didn't think that was a good ending. So in the play, she does go back to God. She goes back to God alone. And, she's basically
Which one goes back to God alone?
Racine still dies. Anaya is distraught in the play about her sister dying. She does not feel, she does not feel free. She does not feel liberated. None of those things that kind of the movie is implying. She's very upset, and she goes back to God and brings her all the stuff, the trinkets of all the people that they've killed, and let her know that, we killed him, but also Racine died too. And God doesn't care. God does not care. And my interpretation of the script was basically she still has the rock and the sock. In the movie, she puts it down, and she runs away from the house at the end. But in the play, she still has the rock and the sock with her when she goes back to see the mom. And so the mom's basically like, she doesn't care that Racine is dead. She's just happy that man is dead. And my original interpretation was that Anaya kills God. Like, that was the ending. That's how I thought it ended. But when I talked to Alicia, she was like, no, people mistake that all the time, because it's actually, she raises the sock up, but then she puts it down. So it's like she's making a decision to stop the cycle of violence, I guess. And maybe if you could actually see it on stage, it would be a different experience. But reading it was actually really enjoyable, because there's a lot of, just like the typeface in the film, there's all sorts of different typefaces. It's like poetry. It really is written like poetry, how the play is laid out on the page. And so, yeah, it wasn't clear to me at all. I thought she killed God, and I thought this was a larger conversation about just the idea of religions that don't care about you and religious figures that don't care about you. And if you're going to be God, like, you're mother now. You are now, if you're a God, if you create something and your mother is God because she created you guys, you're a mother now. So now you're God. So I thought maybe it was like a rejection of, the kinds of gods who don't care about you, who send you on missions that, are not for your greater good, that never did anything, to support you in life. Like, they just want to use you and discard you. That's what I thought the message of the play was. Apparently I was, thinking too deep about
projecting.
Yes, absolutely projection. Because Alicia was definitely like, no, she doesn't.
Like, nah.
She picks the rock up and then she puts it back down. But at least she confronts God about the fact that Racine died. And it seemed like she cared. Like, the important part for me in the play was it seemed like Anaya really cares about her sister not being there and wants to do for Anaya what wants to do for Racine, what Racine has done for Anaya their entire lives. And so that was, I think, the disconnect between there. But the other part is Erica Alexander's part. So Erica Alexander and the son and all that whole part about the son trying to stop them and kill them. So that part is added. That's not in the play.
Well, I love anything Erica Alexander does. So
it's such a great change. It was a great change. But, it was,
and you see when the twins are there and they realize Racine is, you've been waiting on a man who knocked you up and left for how long?
Exactly.
Not, in no way, shape, form, or fashion is she male-centered. Absolutely.
Exactly. And even that upsets Anaya. Because she's like, why can't you just be quiet, and let us get what we got to get done? And she was like, I'm going to tell off this lady and I'm going to get done what we need to get done. Like, relax, like we can do them both. We can tell people the truth to their face and shame the devil. And then we can move forward, and get done what we have to get done. Like, Racine was just such a great character. And I think it says something very, very disappointing, sad, and patriarchal to kill her off. That Absolutely. There are women, Black women in particular, who are too angry to be allowed to live. Like, Racine should have been allowed, and I think this is the problem too that I had in the conversation that Alicia and I had about the play. About the movie. She was saying, like, it was clear that Racine was going to go on. She was going to keep killing people and stuff like that. I was like, that's not what you wrote. Like, you may have thought that, but that's not either that's not what you wrote, or that's not how Cara Young played it. Like, I feel like Cara Young didn't get the memo that she was supposed to be the villain, because she played, even these moments where she was so angry, she would cry. She was crying because it wasn't just anger. The way that Black women are dismissed as angry, like, that is a surface emotion. Like, there is deep pain underneath that. And Cara Young understood the assignment. Exactly. Yeah. Cara Young understood the assignment there. And so even as they're burning their father alive, Racine is not gloating. She's not enjoying it. She's not reveling in it. She is deeply impacted, and she turns to her sister and apologizes. She's convicted. She apologizes to her sister for talking mean to her earlier.
earlier in the film.
And exactly,
At
early a
that
couple
moment,
exactly. That was
turns
the
around and
moment.
apologizes.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm just like, that's
Very
not a person who is consumed by hate and just enjoys killing
powerful.
people and just gonna keep doing it. Like that, if that's what you wanted to write, you should have wrote that. That's not what happened here though. It was
And
a person who was convicted and could be hold herself accountable and
it's at
apologize.
that moment that I'm yelling at my TV, why'd you turn your back?
Yes.
So you could see him reaching for you.
But this is
Why,
what
girl?
and this is I hope the message of this movie, if anything, because as an angry Black woman, I walked away from this movie very angry and I felt very disappointed. I felt betrayed. I felt just a lot of unpleasant emotions after it because I felt discarded. And I feel like if there's any other angry Black women out there, any other angry Black girls out there who watch this movie and feel the same way, I hope the message that you take from this movie is to stop putting on the cape for people who will be happy if you die, who will feel unburdened when you stop riding for them. Like that to me, Racine turned her back on her enemy to again tend to the feelings and care and show care and concern for somebody who was happier without her. Like no, that's the lesson to learn. If anything, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that's the lesson I took from it. Stop putting on the cape for people who wouldn't care if you died, essentially, who would feel better without you.
If you die. And number one, that's why I asked you to be on the show. But number two, again, juxtaposing your analysis and feelings with so many people, so many sisters who felt that this gave a voice to what they had endured and what they felt should happen. I think more people I think that they dismissed the part of Racine dying as the cost of business, to use a horrible term.
Yes.
They were just happy that Sterling Brown's character ended up dying, as he should have.
And Anaya too, because again, Anaya only kills in self-defense. And she even says as much, And so everybody, I think we have a discomfort in our society. There's a reason why the angry Black woman is a trope in the first place, because we have a discomfort with Black women expressing the fullness of their range, let alone feeling it. You're not even supposed to feel angry, let alone express it, or you will be labeled with this. And this is something that is going to basically shut off any validity to your emotions. It's a way to invalidate Black women, as if you are angry for no reason. You are just born angry. You're just a negative person. And life would be better without you in it. And I feel like that is so drilled into us as a society and even as, fellow Black women, that, I think they were fine with Racine dying, to the degree that it was shocking to me. I thought way more, I have found a good community of people online as well. And in person, I remember, in my screening, there were Black women behind me who were pissed about when Racine died. So I do feel like there are a lot of us. And I think the success of my review also, like, there's a lot of us who feel the same way about this, but the amount of people who were amount of Black women who were just like, yes, I feel seen, I feel comforted, all of these things. They saw themselves in Mallory and in Anaya, and that she could be, she wasn't as angry as Racine. Racine is too much. She's doing too much, and so she has to die. But, the one who just kills in self-defense, which again, Racine was, every person that Racine killed was in self-defense. I'm her attorney, and that's what I'm saying. This was a whole beginning to end with self-defense. Everything that she did is self-defense. Now you want somebody to pop you in the mouth and you pop them right back. And that's the only time that there can be self-defense. If there's any stretch of time in between when the offense happened and when you retaliate, then it's no longer self-defense. Now, you're a murderer. And so that's what they're putting on Racine. But the reality is, no matter how much time comes past, she was defending herself.
You're her attorney, and I'm going to let you make that argument. I'm going to let you make that argument. Now that we have had this discussion, the Hurston Walker test.
Oh, yes.
Does his Gotti pass it or no?
So, and I wrote about this in my review as well.
Mhm.
I coined the Hurston Walker test. For those that don't know, in the review that Sizwe was talking about earlier, Queen and Slim, and this is from the book Barracoon by Zora Neale Hurston, and the introduction to that book by Alice Walker, where Alice
Mhm.
Walker says, "Those who love us never leave us alone with our wounds. At the moment they show us our wound, they reveal they have the medicine." So that is the Hurston Walker test for me. If you are showing us a wound, are you
Mhm.
also then providing us medicine?
Mhm.
I did not feel a balm at the end of
Mhm.
this movie.
Right.
I felt, extremely triggered.
Triggered, wounded.
And yes, I felt like it was reopening the wound. I felt like it was
Mhm.
validating the people who feel like that Black women are too angry, that there is a level of anger where you no longer get sympathy. And the reality is Black women don't get sympathy at all anyway. But
At
if
any
and
level.
at any and at definitely not at any level of anger. But I mean, I feel like it validated this argument that you could be too angry and then we just have to get rid of you. Like you just can't be healed. And I think what would have passed the Hurston Walker test for me is if they had both twins had been able to walk out of that fire for a
Mhm.
second time, survived a second fire, that was way more poetic. That would have been way more poetic, in my opinion,
Mhm.
for both of them to have been able to walk out and be alive, and for Racine to see what her life could be like. What is
Mhm.
her life like when she's healed? That is passing the Hurston Walker test for me. There is
Mhm.
a scene in the middle of the movie where the girls are in a field and they come across this like water oasis, and they got their faces all in the water. They're just so excited and happy, like, oh, this is like, manna from heaven. We got some water. And then they realize that is a dream. And
Mhm.
so it just, to me, it felt even more cruel, because
Mhm.
a big recurring theme of the movie is, them twins burning, because they're burnt, but it's their scars still burn, that they still have to ice
Yeah.
themselves down regularly because the scars are still on fire. And so to
That.
have this scene where they are being like, not just Racine is the one whose her mouth is wide open. She's the one in the middle of the water. She's being more quenched than Anaya is. Anaya is the one that's peeping game that this is not real, that they must be dreaming because this is too good to be true. And
Mhm.
so to that, it felt more cruel, because you could have given Racine some water. You could
Mhm.
have put those burns out. You could have
Mhm.
soothed those burns and allowed her an opportunity to heal, because the source of her pain is gone. And
Mhm.
now she can move forward without that, knowing that though the legal system failed her by not holding this man accountable, the community failed her by not holding this man accountable, she's
Mhm.
held the man accountable. He is now facing his maker and justice. And now what can her life look like? That
Mhm.
would have passed the Hurston Walker test for me.
Mhm. 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 Yeah, the ice cubes on the skin was, I don't know. I'm supposed to be a writer. I'm supposed to have words at the tip of my tongue. I don't know what to say about this. Just the imagery
Mhm.
is so. The imagery in this film is just so powerful to me. The imagery that, what are they now, 18, 19, 20 years old? They
I
still
think they're in their 20s.
they have to ice their scars.
Mhm.
They are still physically suffering,
Mhm.
not from a stigma of ugliness from society. They've got physical
Exactly.
repercussions from what
Exactly.
their father did.
Exactly.
It's just wow. Just
And that's why I say it's self-defense,
mhm.
because her pain has never stopped.
Her pain has never
It's not,
ceased.
she doesn't have an opportunity to heal and move forward and forgive and forget and all this other. She doesn't have
Right.
an opportunity because she's still on fire.
She's still
Like,
on.
so
She's
it's still
still
happening. And all of those people, Janelle Monáe's character, the twin boy, like they all contributed. They
Yeah.
all contributed to her continual pain.
I was
And
hoping the Janelle Monáe character would have turned around and drove him back to the house. Didn't happen.
I
Didn't.
mean, at least drive around them, girl. I was just like, that was a very open field. Like, drive around.
What are you?
You're in an SUV. They should have put her in a smaller car or put some walls up in the drive, like make it impossible for her. Because that was my one thing I would say. It did look prettier for sure for them to be out in this open field to have the scene, but it made no sense why Janelle couldn't have
Right.
just driven around them. So,
Right.
like, okay, girl.
But the other thing I wanted to say, though, looking at both of these films, how we are introduced to these characters and the settings. When I saw Is God Is, and I saw the was it an Oldsmobile? I'm not sure what it was, but the hood of the car was tied down with rope.
Crown Vic.
Crown. I was like, that is my life. My car I had to have a rope. I was at that point in my life. They got duct tape on the lights, on the hood, and the hood is tied down with rope. It's a hoopty. It's a
Yes.
bucket. They're working as custodians on the night shift. Kiki Palmer in I Love Boosters is squatting in an abandoned chicken joint.
Yes.
I immediately thought about this abandoned churches over on La Brea near Centinela, where I live. She's squatting in an abandoned chicken shack. She's been to jail before. How do we know? The character told us she needs this job, she needs this money, but she's got bigger hopes and dreams. She designs fashion, not someone who just wants to be a fashion designer, but she's actually designed clothing. So it's not just about, stealing for her. This is a part of who she is in terms of access to the fashion world and buying. She's boosting, she's squatting, but she has read the autobiography of this mogul. What did she say? Twice she's read it?
Mm-hmm.
At least twice. Has memorized passages from it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the hopes and dreams and desires of Black women and how they come to fruition, how they are represented on screen, what we take away from it. Obviously, Is God Is did not pass the Hurston Walker test, but yeah, I just like I said, I don't know.
I think there's so much to, yeah, like I said, 95% of that movie I was rocking with. I thought it was
Yeah.
really beautiful. Cinematography was great. The dialogue is beautiful. The typeface on the screen. Moses Sumney's scores fantastic.
The portrayal of the twins communicating
Absolutely.
telepathically.
Yes.
Come on,
Genius.
Al.
Yeah. Genius. So
Genius.
there is there's a lot. Not passing the Hurston Walker test doesn't mean that this is not a worthwhile piece of art. It's not it can't be a favorite of mine because of the ending, but
Yeah.
I think it's a very promising work from a promising, new director who gets to take a play that she wrote and then turn it into a movie. I think that's, as a first time director, as well as a Black woman, as well as I think she's like 45-year-old Black woman as well. Like there's so many opportunities where people could have shut her down, could have taken her work, she could have sold it to somebody, so to be able to retain ownership of it and to bring her vision to life the way that she wanted to do that, hats off. I don't knock any of that. I think all of that is, really fantastic for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I had never heard of her before this film. So, and to know that she was also a playwright, when I found that out that she was a playwright, I immediately thought about Katori Hall,
Mm-hmm.
Pose.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Courtney Kemp, I'm not familiar with her other writing. I don't know if she's a playwright, but I think Courtney Kemp is an excellent writer. Katori Hall, of course. I'm waiting on the next season of Pose. But at any rate,
No, you mean P Valley.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I get them confused. P Valley and Pose. Exactly. I'm waiting on another season of P Valley to drop. So it is 6:08 p.m. I try not to stay up here running my mouth all night long. Folks in the chat, a few of them, probably all of them, are saying they have not seen the film yet. I was hoping they would, so that they could, so it wouldn't spoil it for them, because now they might be like, I don't want to see it. You need to see it. I think you need to see it, especially, yeah, you need to see both of them, actually. Go on and support those filmmakers. You ain't doing nothing else. Stop scrolling and watch those films. Brooke, is there anything else you wanted, any other points that you wanted to make that I had not asked you about?
I think that is pretty much, I mean, I feel like I've been running my mouth about pretty much all the things that were in both my reviews and like the highlights, at least from my conversations with Boots Riley and Alicia Harris, that people can find on Black Girl Watching.
Okay.
But yeah, it's all in more depth, of course, over on Black Girl Watching. But that's the gist.
Now, again, I put the link to your review uh, of Is God Is in the chat. They can find your video, your interviews with Boots Riley and Alicia Harris at that same link, correct?
So for Alicia Harris is at the link that you just sent out. So Is God Is review has the Alicia Harris interview embedded. And then the Boots Riley I Love Boosters review is also has the my interview with Boots Riley embedded in that one as well.
Awesome. Okay, got you. Okay, let's see here. Got a couple of comments that they love the conversation.
Thank you.
Got one person tell us to go ahead on and spoil it. Yeah, you should have seen it by now. This person says, I haven't seen any of these films. Okay. Well, go see them. I need you to go see them. I need you to go see them. Like I said, I need. Okay. So, again, you've got in the I've got in the chat the link for Brooke Obie, who is an author, journalist, filmmaker, film critic, and the editor curator of Black Girl Watching. She is a friend of the show. Let me put this link up here. This is the link for. Is this for the? Which one is this for now?
That's for Boots Riley.
Oh, the interview with Boots Riley. Okay.
Yes, and I Love Boosters review.
Okay, so I put that in the chat. So got links in the chat to Black Girl Watching. Please go on over to Brooke Obie's Substack. Check out her work if you haven't already done so. Brooke Obie, thank you again so much for putting up with my shenanigans and coming on the show. I really, really appreciate it.
I love your shenanigans, Sizwe. Please, anytime, invite me. I love to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To you all, thank you so much for rocking with us again. If you've been here live or if you catch the show later on, thank you so much for watching. Please like the video, share the link, and subscribe. Subscribe to the Patreon, subscribe on YouTube to Black Liberation Media, and subscribe to my channel, Woodwork. Also, Brooke Obie, check out her work. Subscribe. This is Robin Drake. Thank you so much for your words and for showing up. And Robin says, thank you for Black Girl Watching in particular. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, I'm going to go on and get on out of here. It's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. It's only 6 o'clock here, but that's all right. I'm getting out of here. Appreciate y'all. And again, thank you so much, Brooke. I'll be harassing you later on Instagram, okay?
Anytime. Thank you.
All right now, no problem.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. So I'm going to get on out of here. Thank you again so much for your support. And I'll holler later. Peace.
Nothing in Deborah Jones's formative years could have prepared her for life in the US organization. Like many of her generation, she was Black and proud before the phrase became popular. She believed, and still believes, in the principles for which the organization stood. But her life took a horrific turn on Mother's Day 1970, leaving her in trauma and in silence. In this never-before-told account, Deborah Jones's inspiring story is told. What We Stood For: The Story of a Revolutionary Black Woman, by Deborah Jones and Tandisizwe Shimaringa, is the compelling and harrowing memoir of one woman's experiences in a leading Black power organization.
Black Liberation Media is a collective of Black and African organizers, journalists, academics, and media personalities serving Black and African masses seeking to further grow in their understanding of themselves, their histories, and the African world through entertainment and news. Please continue to like, subscribe, and donate to the channel so we can further serve you and liberate our people. You can also go to blkliberationmedia.org, get some merchandise, and also become a Patreon member and a member from the YouTube. Please do what you can, share, and show your love as we will show ours for you. Black Liberation Media.